What's up, guys? We are back in Unity, and if you guys remember correctly, we made a nice looking terrain last time. So for now, we created a prefab. Now, the reason we created a prefab is for something. So what you're gonna do is hit delete on that terrain, so you can actually spawn it in using the prefab. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna look at a different way to do terrain. And a different way to do terrain will be to add Berlin noise function. Now the easiest way to do that would be to go to here, create 3D object, plane. Okay, so we are going to actually create a plane, move it here, and maybe set it to 10 by 10 by 10, and mesh collider, and then maybe move it into positions. So it's Control F to find it out here, and then move it out of. Maybe move it all the way until it kind of comes into view. Then maybe set it to 1000 by 1000. So 3 zeros and 3 zeros. And or actually maybe like 100. Yeah, 1000 is fine. And then maybe move it down on the Z or whatever. No, let's actually find a focus on it. Whoops, undo that. Focus on it to move it up to about right here. Be kind of round it off like that. And then maybe move our main camera out just so we can see it a bit better. Main camera way out there. Doesn't look too good. So let's just set our main camera is going to anyway be focused to our cube. So let's just parent it. So let's just move our cube down to where our main plane is. So our cube is at 155, so our main plane should be at 150. 154. 100 is looking nice. Or actually not 100. So 100. 50 actually, so 54. We now move our camera to kind of see where the heck, or not the plane, don't move the plane, just kind of center it. Move our camera to kind of see if the plane is kind of aligned or whatever. And yeah, so it looks good. Now what we're going to do is give this plane a mesh collider and a mesh filter. Then in the add components section, we're going to add some nice looking, so we're going to add a new script. And it's going to be C#, and we're going to call it noise. Now this is a different way to generate terrain. Okay, so we're going to actually create an add and then open up our noise script. Now our noise script, while it's opening up, we might as well give it this physics material as well. So open up noise script, double tap it, and let's go ahead and go to our plane and give it this really cool physics material. So we now have that, and if you guys see, we can kind of move around the same way. We can move around the same way. So if it's in third person point of view or whatever, kind of see we can move around in third person view. Perspective. You can see that we're actually moving. It just looks a bit weird since it's white. Whoa, don't worry about that yet. Now this weird texture thing, I don't know what that is, but for now all we're going to do is actually go into materials and give it our grass texture. Bam! Whoa, that plane looks horrible. That's because it's standard. We want it to be specular shaded, and whoa, it still looks horrible. I'll tell you why, because we're not giving it an original looking nice grass texture that is made with all the height maps and stuff pre-made, and we want to do that. So let's go ahead and into the albedo here, edit to preview whatever mesh we're doing, import size or whatever. So then we actually have the alpha sources, and then import to texture, and then we can actually move around and kind of have it look nicely on the plane. So we gave it our nice looking grass mesh, and it looks kind of nice, even though it's not really doing that well. Looks kind of nice, and whenever we move around, we can but we realized that we fell off quicker than usual because we were way far off. So now let's actually edit this script. So really quickly, let's go exit play mode. Let's go into our, not go into our materials tab or whatever. It actually made a new material called real. It's horrible. Now if you look at the actual real material in here, it actually has a specular and an alpha cutoff or whatever. I actually have a way better grass material that's in one of my other Unity projects, but that's because it's okay. So we can just give it its real material and just make the specular, the smoothness to 0, with the glossy or whatever. Of course, normal map. We also want to select our N banana, and which adds a really nice looking normal map. Height map and detail mask look pretty cool. Now if we set to standard shader, it would look horrible. If we reduce the metallic and up the smoothness, still look pretty horrible now. Specular looks nice, and if we really reduce the smoothness and beta alpha, whoa, okay. Okay, now let's reduce the smoothness, specular. And it looks about the same, so we don't actually need this. Just keep it like that, and it looks kind of nice. Now, in the actual script noise, we're going to edit it to make some terrain. So, in the start function, here's what we're going to write in the start function. So, first of all, let's add 2 ints. Our int up here, let's add some int real quick, like an int and a float. So public int, public int, and int height, height, and that's what we're calling it, is public int height, and then public float detail, public float detail, or no, style, and then there's that, and then in the start we need mesh is equal to, so mesh dot named mesh is equal to mesh is equal to this dot get component, and then we add these brackets here. So then we add these brackets, and mesh filter is what we put in here. Mesh filter, get component, mesh filter, and then we add this to these, and then dot mesh, which is what we have here. Then we always conclude it with a semicolon. Then underneath it, we are going to add a vector 3 called, vector. We're going to add a vector 3 array. Okay. So we're going to add a vector 3 array, which is something like this. And then vertices, called vertices. Equal to mesh dot vertices. There we go. Now mesh dot vertices. and then wrap it off with the semicolon. And then underneath that, we're going to go for loop, a for loop, and then in that for loop, we're going to type int v is equal to, oops, not I've, int v, int space v is equal to 0, semicolon, v is less than v, or yes, space v is less than, v is less than vertexes dot length l, length, and then we're going to go v plus, or v plus plus. And then, of course, we're going to add 2 curly brackets out here. So then we're going to add 2 curly brackets. And in those curly brackets, we're going to type, up here maybe, vertices dot, no, vertices, yes, v, and then in that vertice, in those vertices, vertice v, we're going to type dot y equals math function, math f dot per noise. And then we're going to go ahead and open one of these guys. And then inside those, we're going to go ahead and open another one of these and type okay. So then inside those, we're going to go ahead and open one of these again, and inside those, actually, open one of those and just conclude it with one like that. And we're going to type vertices v dot x is equal to this transform dot position. Okay, so vertices v dot x is equal to dot x plus this dot transform dot position dot x, and then yes, then we close off that quote right there. And then when we do that, divided by detail scale, by style, the public float style, comma, and just duplicate that and just set it to z. Just duplicate all of this, so vertices from here to here, and just set it to z. So then just go in here, hit control Z, oh, no, add the comma back in and hit control V, and then just set these to z instead of x, just set these to z. And then to wrap things up, here we're just going to add one more of these guys, and a semicolon. And back here, I'm going to put dot, after this we're going to put dot height scale, dot height, but times height scale, my bad. Times height. Okay, so times height. And then now that we've done that, after the for loop, we need to do some stuff. So after the entire for loop, which would be here, we need to mesh dot v vertices, and then equals vertex, and then comma or semicolon, and then mesh dot recalculate bounds, and then whenever you do that, you have to give it this, and then semicolon, and then mesh dot recalculate normals, and then you have to give it this as well, and that'll just even things out. And then mesh or this dot game object dot add component, because we're adding something. Add component and mesh collider. Okay, then mesh collider, and there we go. Now we need to give it 2 of these and a semicolon, and this should be it. And what this code should do is it should generate some random stuff. So if we hit play, and it'll load in all the script that we just put in, and it just disappeared. What? Okay. Okay, what if we moved it away from the land thing and just left it by itself? And of course, oh, there's already a mesh collider. Okay, that's nice. So maybe remove component and then hit the script. So then do that. And oh, we forgot to assign height and style, didn't we? Oh, that's because we can't. We didn't assign height and style, which makes it a bit hard to do. So assign height, I recommend assigning it to 5, and style can be 5.0. Now, what this will do is if we do it right, it created a nice looking plane. Now, let's go here. It created a really nice looking plane, but of course when the cube trying to... Okay, so then let's kind of look at it. It created a nice looking plane there. Now, let's just move our plane off our land thing so that it looks decent. And then, assign our cube to our plane. Or maybe actually just stop the cube from trying to move off our plane. So then let's control and F, and control F. Select our scene view, hit control F to kind of... Okay, so our cube is right here, and our camera is being set to our cube. So let's, for right now, let's just disable the follow script real quick, and you'll get why later, but let's just disable the follow script as to not set our cube. Okay. So our cube needs to be physically attached to our plane, which, if we attach our cube to our plane, we don't want to do that, because, okay, so the issue here is that our cube is not being set to a specific place. Our plane is not being, we should assign our plane to our cube parameter. Now, if we do that and the plane changes, then our cube shouldn't, it should reset the transform on the plane. Also, convex, let's make sure the convex is there, so we can actually have a nice looking mesh collider. Okay, and because it's constantly resetting, okay. So the problem here is that our cube doesn't land on the plane now. The easiest way to fix that would be to set the plane at exactly the same position as our cube by hitting the reset button, reset component, and then move it down a bit on our cube, of course. Of course, moving the position down by like 1 or whatever, like right there. And then no, moving it in a bit, like in a little bit, and in the other side, so that the cube has something to land on. And then what happens is then we have a really nice looking mesh. Now just move the plane right on top of our cube. Then our cube stops colliding with stuff, and then yeah, okay, so our mesh right on top of our cube. So just reset the transform of our plane entirely, and then just move it down a bit on the Y. Of course, then what we need to do is turn on the follow script again. So follow, which will instantly just put us on the top of the plane. Now the cube. Now everything should sort of fall into place. And that looks horrible. Okay, so maybe if we follow and perspective mode, the offset on the X isn't a bit cool. Does the plane have a collider? That's why. The plane does not have an actual. Oh wait, what? The plane has a rigid body? Okay. That's weird. Okay. Oh, because they're attached. Okay, now if we detach them, keep everything normal, then nothing, we shouldn't get any more errors. That's kind of what we look like. And now we have kind of a scrolling plane background that looks kind of pretty cool. To perspective mode, we can kind of look that we're kind of walking around the cube, kind of walking around the plane. Now we want to create infinity of this. So now you guys know the difference between plane and terrain. Plane can be generated randomly, terrain can't, and of course having this script on it, let's find the actual plane in the reality. And then let's Control D to duplicate it and move it down and kind of align it a little bit more. And then just basically just attach them to each other. Now the cube can be above the plane. Basically just attach them and Control D to duplicate them both. And then move them something like this. And they join nicely. Now if we have this looking like, bam. Now we are going to get a really nice looking, of course they aren't joined properly because their location is not correct. Now we can even move this one down a bit, and there, and move this one in a bit, this one's fine. This one, move it in, move it up that way a bit to kind of have it join with that one, and then the original, move it in a smidge. And there we go, now they join, and let's go back into game mode. Kind of play around in infinite walking terrain. We offset the camera a bit anyway. Even if it's in perspective, they need to be kind of, and there we go. Now it'll generate random looking terrain. And that is how you generate random terrain for your games. As well as, that looks a bit weird. Or, that's weird. Okay. So maybe if we lower the height to like 2 and the style to like 1, or actually 3. Okay, so 2 and 3. Of that specific plane. Whoa, okay, that looks different. Okay, now we need to change all of them. So shift select all of them and then lower the style to 3 and the style to 2, through and through. Enter then those numbers, and then what this will do is it'll make it look quite nice. Now they actually kind of have a much higher height value. It makes it really weird to move around and stuff. That's a bit weird. Okay, so maybe if we up the height to 10. 10 on all of them. The height will be much slower. Overly reduced. Now, of course, okay, let's see what lowering the height and upping the height can do. So if we set these to 5 and 5, they look pretty nice. Okay, so 5, 5, and then see what this does. It looks kind of nice. Now, 5 as well. Now that looks weird. 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 2 now. Okay, now instead of calculating this in the start function, we want to just copy and paste all of this code here in the update function. Now it'll be much more unique, so just paste it in the actual update for testing. Now it'll be much more unique, and that'll be pretty much it for this one. Okay, so now it's adding constant mesh colliders. Okay, now maybe the mesh collider part. That'll be it for this video, team. But that is how you generate terrain. Now, 5 and 5 look really nice, so we're gonna keep them at 5 and 5. I do kind of like 5 and 5. And of course, you can kind of move them around. Don't get why to play around with, and it makes it so hard to kind of buffer. Maybe if we move the cube up a bit, that'll be it for this video, team. Yeah, that'll be it for this video. So, bye guys. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Be sure to check out my gameplay. Bye guys. Cheese puff and subscribe.